Hey, hi, hello, how are ya? Meister Chewy here, friendly neighborhood non-binary, pronouns they, them, she, her. Today, the episode is, with another Wake Up Wednesday episode, I should say. Episode 2, where's all this money coming from? Because, yeah, there's so much money that our tax dollars are going to lately, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all this crazy spending that's going on, record-breaking defense budget that they're proposing right now. Like, we're going to get into it. Let's jump right in. So let's start out with Florida. Alligator Alcatraz is actually shutting down, so that's actually a W. That's actually a W for us in Florida. We're not going to talk about the remapping. We're not even going to bother talking about that. We know that this is all racially motivated, but you know, it's ridiculous. They can get away with it. Like it's crazy. People are going to say it wasn't racially motivated. People are going to be stupid and think that it was changed because it was already racist. No, what they're doing is racist, and it doesn't make any sense. Like if you think what they're changing it to is less racist, that doesn't make any sense. Taking stuff away from melanated people, how is that not racist? Anyways, moving on. We're not, like I said, we're not going to talk about it. But Alligator Alcatraz is shutting down. It's a big W for everyone who cares about their neighbors and the immigration problem that's going on. And when I say the immigration problem that's going on, I do also mean you know our actual immigration problem that we have and the fake one that they're cooking up to throw a bunch of legal Americans into this freaking place. Um, it's technically not because we did anything with the fighting back or anything, and or a court ruling or anything like that. That didn't happen. They're actually choosing to do it. They're saying, "Oh, it was temporary, anyways." Blah 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 blah. No, it's most likely because it was costing $1 million a day. Okay. And then their $68 million that they asked for, yeah, they haven't gotten. Or 68 million, sorry, 608 million that they asked for from Trump. Trump hasn't written off on. He's not going to. So the crazy thing is that this thing is built up about $1.7 billion in debt, and we're pretty much expected to pay 1.1 billion of that in our own taxes. So this entire facility, uh, this whole ice situation is actually hitting us Floridians in the pocket. Um, it's pretty wild that MAGA's like, yeah, do it, do it, do it, and then it's like, well, this is another thing that's costing us money, y'all. Once again, immigration, yes, sure, it's a problem, but not only did they do it wrong, but it's now going to cost us taxpayers $1.1 billion. Not Florida, right there. Floridians expected to pay at least 1.1 billion. Like, holy crap, that is beyond unconscionable. Um, Once again, this was as usual something that like not everybody agreed on. It's not like we even got to vote on if we wanted to have that thing be erected or not. It just happened, uh, and you know this is what happens when you vote in someone like him, someone who just does whatever this regime wants, right? Like he's one of the people that signed up to just fall in line, and whatever they want they get. And it was also the state-run detention center to be opened to go along with the whole ICE uh, encampment going on. Terrible conditions, um, typical nonsense. They're not actually deporting these people, and that even when they shut this down, from what I've read in these articles, they're not actually deporting these people. They're just transferring them to other facilities, as far as I know. So I don't even understand what exactly that's about. It doesn't make any sense. Um, I don't get it. I don't get what is the point of these facilities to begin with when you're supposed to be deporting these people. Like that's what you're supposed to be doing. but you're not doing that. Why? Why aren't you deporting these people? That's the whole point of detaining these people. It's this, like you said, it's temporary. Well, them being there, not only is the facility supposed to be temporary, but everything is supposed to be temporary, right? Them being there is supposed to be temporary because you're supposedly having them there only because you said you're going to deport all these people. You're to deport these people um, out of this country because they're not supposed to be here. Well, what the heck? They're in these detainment centers, and our taxpayer dollars are paying for them to be in them. Our taxpayer dollars are paying for the detention centers. Our taxpayer dollars are paying for the thing. Oh, no, sorry. I guess they're not paying for medical and food and things like that because they're not actually doing that for these people. As far as I know, they're not actually taking care of these people. So I guess maybe our tax dollars aren't paying for any of that, right? Like if they aren't actually taking care of these people, but then you got to take into account they're probably budgeting for it though. Even if they aren't giving them the stuff, they're budgeting for it. So we are paying for it. They just might not be giving it to them. Um, I don't know. It's wild. It's wild. Sorry, I didn't put the hey, we're live text out. Apologies. But yeah, it just I don't understand. It's this is costing so much money, like and just an innumerable amount of money. Like it did not even imagine, could not even imagine that this was going to be um, what this would look like. Um, I don't. Oh, jeez. Um, like don't get me wrong, right? I knew what? That's not. Jeez, it didn't copy what I wanted it to copy. Um, oh, that's not. Yeah, that's not. No. Sorry, I'm being a terrible host right now. So I'm trying to. What? Oh, there it is. Okay. Um, but yes, this is costing us more and more money every day. Um, because like I said, it was $1 million a day, and it's still open right now, right? Like they're not going to be the last detainee will be gone July 7th, I believe they said. So yeah, it's it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while to get these people out of the detention center. So it's still gonna cost $1 million a day up until July whatever day they said. So it's like I don't. Ugh. Oh yeah 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 yeah. Just don't get it. Just don't get it. Just don't get it. Just don't get it. And like when you think about it, right? Like we have all this money for that, but we couldn't put in a rail system, right? We couldn't put a healthcare, state provided healthcare. Which I mean, we do have like healthcare for kids. I will say that much. At least I will give them that. There is state healthcare for kids, but the doctors you go to with that is they're terrible. They're not good. They're not good. So like when you hear a foreign person say free healthcare is free healthcare, like we actually do get shit free healthcare. Like if it's free healthcare, them over there, everybody's free healthcare. So technically they still get good free healthcare. So that when they say it, it doesn't really mean the same as when we say it. When we have free healthcare, it's usually the lesser funded doctors you have to go to. Like I remember, like hearing stories like people having to go like to whole other counties to take their kid, and it's like, okay, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, why wouldn't you have a doctor in your county? And then the problem is that they might have been able to go to a doctor in their county for whatever it's a specialist, obviously, like a basic doctor you can find within your county, like a primary, a pediatrician. But then like I said, a specialist, right? Like all of a sudden you're going to like a whole other county, a whole other city. And like I said, it might be true, but it might not be. It might just be like the person who was looking that information up, like they got like an ITT tech degree or something, and they're just not good at their job, maybe because once again, this is a low funded facility. Um, yeah, I don't know, just ugh, ugh. But yeah, I mean, at least we do have that. But like I said, we could have adult care as well, for that amount of money, right? That amount of money that's being spent, that is going to be spent, because obviously they're hoping and praying that the government's going to give them some money, but the government's they only asked for $608 million grant, and I don't really know what you expect. They're not going to give you that. They're certainly not going to give you the 1.1 billion. And here we are. You got us on the hook. Got us on the freaking hook. And then also, if you have not heard,
Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about any.
To what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all.
So there you have it. That's why he keeps saying prices have gone down, prices have gone down, because he just said it right there. He confirmed it. He does not actually think about our financial situation. So every time he starts talking about prices are going down, that's why he's saying that, because he doesn't know. That's why he's lying, because he doesn't know. He's one of those people that just yeah. You talk because you think you know things. Deal with them all the time on social media. And I'm sorry, but I'm not one to sit here and be like, I'm going to ignore them, or I'm going to block them, or this or that. No, I'm going to challenge whatever they're saying, because somebody needs to challenge people. This is what happens. Look at this. When you don't challenge people that just run their mouth like that, this happens. So honestly, at least say one thing back to them, and then if they keep going, then yeah, at that point, block them and mute them, whatever. But at least say something back to them if they are empirically incorrect. Okay, especially when it comes to science. Oh my God, always debating science. As a trans person, always debating science with people. But no, he doesn't care. He doesn't give two shits. He even said, didn't he say, I don't care? All I care about.
But the only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear
That's all
weapon.
he cares about. He said the only thing I care about. So he doesn't care that the war is making all of this go up. And then he also, I guess that's why he doesn't care about this $1.5 trillion defense budget that Pete Hegseth is trying to go after. He didn't stop him and tell him, hey, that's record breaking. That is record breaking. As far as I know, never has the defense budget been that high. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. But that's wild. That's insane. 1.5 trillion. Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? You think this is coming from us? Where is this coming from? And then let's go back to we were talking about last Wednesday, the $1 billion on that ballroom, right? And then I believe there's another $220 million beyond that with those security improvements. And this is all a sub portion of a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill. So then are you once again trying to get money for ICE again? And then part of the, and then there's another $180 million for some visitor screening facility, $175 million for an agent training. All this taxpayer dollars. All this asking to use taxpayer dollars to do this. I don't understand. Where's all this money coming from? You don't care about our financial situation, but yet you want to use our money. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. You can't have both. It doesn't. And then Pete Hegseth said that he had people monitoring, how much this is costing us. All this defense spending. He had a team monitoring, what that's costing us exactly. For this guy right here, no. I don't get it. I don't get it. $1 billion security proposal. Bulletproof glass, drone detection technologies, chemical treat filtration systems. So $180 in a new visitor screening facility, $175 million. Agent training. Like I said, $70 billion from the immigration bill. And why is this above ground and below ground improvements? So, because people said, there's a bunker. There's a bunker involved in the ballroom. What? Are you afraid that this Iran war is going to turn into something where nuclear fallout occurs? Bonnie, please stop. Where nuclear fallout occurs? What do you mean? What do you need a bunker for? What are we doing here? What are we talking about? What's going on? What's going on? But it's crazy. And then it's still involved in legal proceedings, right? It's still involved in legal proceedings. Really, truly, it was once again Supreme Court, I believe, doing whatever he wants. Said that it could continue, but like I was saying last week, it shouldn't, right? It's tied up in the court battle. What do you mean? Oh yeah, the court battle's still going, but you can keep building it. Well, aren't we determining if he can't build it or not? I don't understand why you would let him keep building it if the whole case is determined if he can even do it. What? That? Whoa, man. Whoa. Just whoa. What? Make this make sense. I don't get it. I don't get it. Not to tangent a bit, but the Supreme Court, it has just been doing whatever he wants, right? With all of these remappings, the Supreme Court is just stepping in and being nope. But I think Louisiana actually, if we're gonna go off on a tangent, Louisiana, no. Remapping halt. posted. Suspended the state's primary elections. Oh no, that's right. They suspended the. That's right. They suspended the primary election. But I thought that something was. They were saying that there was a problem with that. I thought courts were saying no, you can't do that. I thought I heard something about that. Supreme Court ruling that invalidated the state's current congressional map. Ugh. No, so they might not have stopped it. And then that's right, yeah, on top, like 45,000 votes that were already cast are going to be discarded because of that. But yeah, no, let's not get too in the weeds with that. But then again, we do still have a few minutes, so technically we can. Right, Louisiana, unfortunately, they had an election already going on in the middle of an election. This dude comes up and does what old boy wants him to do and suspends the election. So, not quite sure why that's legal, but yeah. Race-based discrimination. Oh, that's such a lie. You're literally doing it to create race-based discrimination. Like, what do you mean? That is a lie. That's a complete and utter lie. It's a complete and utter lie. Because let's see. Nah, actually, I'm not gonna get too far into it. I was about to pull up the map, but no, we're not gonna pull up the map. Let's move on to the next topic. Check this out.
Document. I am reading that 15-page counterterrorism strategy vowing to kill American citizens that they deem enemies. Quote, "We will find you and we will kill you." Signed by President Donald J. Trump. And I want us to pay close attention to the language in this document. Because the last time white supremacists published a document, a lot of people said, fuck that document, I ain't reading that shit, it is what it is. And then 53% of the goals in Project 2025 actually became reality, like the regression of voting rights across the country, the rollback of LGBT rights, the decimation of the Department of Education, and a dramatic increase in military budgets for more wars, among many other things. Like Project 2025, this document also has a lot of propaganda that's used to justify their bigger motives ahead of time, because in it, they use a lot of coded language that emboldens white supremacists for what's to come. For example, it says, "Last year, I rightfully designated the deadly cartels as terrorist organizations and began using the strength and power of the US military to stop and destroy their operations." Now, here's the key difference between what they say and what actually happens. Because if you remember, on day one, Trump did sign an executive order that designated drug cartels as terrorists. But that executive order included two very specific gangs. One was Tren de Aragua, and the second one was La Mara Salvatrucha, also known as MS-13. Both of those gangs are from South America, and the importance of that is that they needed to designate gangs from South America as a code to greenlight the racial profiling of everyone who just looks South American, using the lie that they are MS-13 to legally justify their illegal deportations even as US citizens. Because that's exactly what they did to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man that they illegally deported to El Salvador, claiming he was MS-13, where it was then found by a judge that he wasn't MS-13 at all. So now that we know that this is their strategy, who else are they coming after? Well, the counterterrorism strategy is specifically saying Americans have witnessed the political motivated killings of Christians and conservatives committed by violent left-winged extremists. Now let's be very clear, that left-wing extremist label is a label that conservatives use to call anyone who disagrees with them. But then they go on to say, quote, "Counterterrorism activities will prioritize the rapid identification and neutralization of violent secular political groups whose ideologies are anti-American, radically pro-transgender, and anarchist. We will use all the tools constitutionally available for us to map them at home, identify their membership, and use law enforcement tools to cripple them operationally before they can maim and kill the innocent. They're talking about anyone who isn't MAGA. They're saying that they will deem anyone who isn't MAGA a left-wing extremist and un-American to legally justify surveilling you, finding you in your home, and neutralizing you. And by neutralize, I mean that there's a reason Trump is urging the Department of Justice to reinstate death by firing squad. And if you still don't believe me, look further into the playbook where it talks about counterterrorism strategies that are necessary against the new and deepening alliances between the far left and Islamists. For example, the Red and Green Alliance. And the Red and Green Alliance is MAGA-coded language for both radical leftists and Islamists have utilized the master frame of anti-globalization, anti-capitalism, and the master frame of anti-colonialism and anti-imperialism to elicit support from the widest range of people. Translation, they're talking about people behind a politician like Mamdani, because essentially what they're saying is Mamdani, a Muslim mayor, is a threat to the American way of life because he disrupts and exposes the exploitative state of capitalism and corruption that benefits the ultra-wealthy elites. You know how I know? Because in his first 100 days, Mamdani has delivered on his biggest campaign promises like free universal childcare, assembling a rent guidelines board that creates the conditions for rent freezes, established the Office of Deep Theft Prevention that has negatively and disproportionately impacted black families, won a $31 million settlement in court against slumlords in the Bronx to give back to tenants, balanced a $12 billion budget deficit that he inherited without cutting any social services for people, and finally fucking taxed the rich. This entire counterterrorism strategy is only the beginning of a radical authoritarian government trying to legally justify illegally targeting anybody who dares critique MAGA, capitalism, imperialism, and the lie of American exceptionalism. That's what the fuck is happening. The White House just...
So, how crazy is that? Just like he said, right? Like, a lot of people are focusing on, obviously, within the trans community, I know this, a lot of people are focusing on the radically pro-transgender, and they're saying, oh, they're coming after, trans people. No, they're coming after like a lot of people on the left with that. Like, that's more than just us trans people. Like, that's quite a bit. Like, I mean, honestly, anybody that says free Palestine can fall under that, right? And then, like you saw, he also said that $1.5 trillion budget request. Jesus fucking Christ. But for one thing, just to point this out, I said this on my threads. Being trans is not an ideology, so this carries no water at all. Like, what do you mean radically pro-transgender? Like, it's not a faith. It's not like a group, like a club or something. Like, what? Like, it's not, it's our actual life. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's what we are. Like, no, it doesn't carry any fucking water at all. I mean, even if this goes through and then they start trying to like go after people in a court case, that's not going to make any sense. No, like anybody who is pro-trans, that has nothing to do with anything violent. And then them talking about the dude who got Kirk saying they were radically pro-trans. What? Like, what do you mean? And then to try to say, oh, because Kirk was anti-trans, like that's why this guy went after him, and therefore now everybody who's pro-trans is going to do violent things. That's idiotic. That's not. No, that's not a 2 and 2 situation. That doesn't add up. That doesn't add up at all. There's no attachment to violence and being trans. There's no scientific attachment to being violent and being trans. If anything, a person is probably more prone to be violent if they are a trans person and they aren't pro-trans. If they're having problems coming out and being trans openly, and they're denying that they're trans, that person could be violent because they're going to have problems. They're going to have mental problems, mental issues, right? They're probably going to have so much trauma and anguish. They're probably going to be depressed, all kinds of things, like an unchecked depression. I mean, like not someone who's going and seeking medical help. A person who's pro-trans is most likely seeking medical help. They most likely were diagnosed with gender dysphoria, like I was, and you have seen someone or are seeing someone, So you're seeking medical attention, which once again, trans people, it has nothing to do with violence to begin with. It has nothing to do with violence to begin with. But my point is, a pro-trans person is seeking medical attention. So what do you mean? A person who is trans most likely is seeking medical attention. Most likely, I repeat, most likely. I'm not going to guarantee everybody is. But if you've been diagnosed, obviously you saw somebody at some point. So there you go. That decreases the chances of somebody getting violent, someone who has sought medical attention. So, no, once again, this still doesn't carry water. It's a bit ridiculous to always try to pick some new group that's violent, right? Before it was the Hispanics, right? Oh, it was the Hispanics. That's why ICE went after Hispanic people, immigrants. They're the violent people. Now, look, this has literally nothing to do with immigration anymore. Now we're not worried about immigration anymore. Wasn't that one of the things that he was running on? Immigration? Now we're not worried about immigration anymore. We're shutting down detention facilities. Mind you, they said if we need to pivot to something else, we're going to pivot to something else. So I swear, if all of a sudden that facility starts rounding up trans people in Florida, come on. Like, what do you mean? And then like I said, though, like, you can't... here's the thing. We're American citizens, so they can't even pull that whole, like, oh, you're not going to get a court case or anything like that type of thing. I mean, mind you, this is trying to say this is terrorism and things like that, so they might try to pull some shit with that. They might try to make the situation more severe than it is. Once again, nobody's out here doing violent things in the name of being trans. They're not. And I don't want to give that killer any screen time on here, so I'm not even going to look up why they did it. I never knew why they did it. I always assumed it was the racist shit, to be honest. That's what I always assumed. And if there's here saying it's because he was anti-trans, I mean, okay, was that killer trans? I don't think he was. I'm pretty sure that was a cis man. So still, once again, I don't know what you're getting at. So then you're saying people who are openly supporting transitioning are prone to violence. That's even worse. That's that's even worse. 'Cause what? That's like fucking, what is it called? TDS? Like, that doesn't make any sense. We're just making up medical issues now? We're just making up mental illness now? Like, I don't understand. That's wild. That is wild. I don't get it. And then trying to bring back the firing squad. Oh yeah. So what are they going to try to, like, rush you to the wall and shoot you before you can get a case or something? Like, that doesn't make any sense, because the whole we'll find you and kill you, we'll find you and neutralize you. You can't just do that. You can't just do that. No. It's not how the legal process works. You can't just bust somebody's door open and shoot them. You can't just do that. Oh boy. Let's move on to the next topic. I don't want to give this much more attention. Just know that they're trying to kill you if you're not MAGA, which is adding to calling them Yahtzees. It's just adding to calling them Yahtzees. I just don't get it. I don't get how you can try to say you're not. But as he said, Mayor Mamdani, man had a $12 billion deficit when he came into office. And in 4 months, y'all, he's brought that down to zero. Within 4 months, he's brought that down to zero. I believe, was there a community note on this? Dang. I wanted to be able to pull up the community note. Let's see. Let's pull it up. No, it's PDF. PDF. That's crazy. That's crazy. He got it to almost 50% down in 42 days. In 42 days, he got it almost 50% down. Holy shit. And it was the largest budget gap since the Great Recession. So he was focusing a record-breaking deficit, and he still did it. He still did it. That's crazy. That is wild. Oh, this is wonderful. But this is the beauty of socialism. It really is. This is the beauty of socialism. This would be happening everywhere if we would just do that. If we would switch on over. I mean, and that's what they were saying. You know, it's they're trying to say that this is anti-capitalism, but it's not, because the businesses are making money. They're making more money. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand. People are making more money. That's how you get out of a deficit. Like, what? It's not a bad thing. Socialism is a good thing. And no, it's not communism. I mean, there is communist socialism, yes, but just regular socialism is not communism. They're two different things. Communist socialism and socialism are two different things. And there's democratic socialism, which technically that's what this is. I would say this is democratic socialism, not just regular socialism, because regular socialism kind of a bit different. But nonetheless, it produces wealth for everybody. Everybody. And that's why they don't like it, because they don't. He said it. He said he doesn't care about our financial situation, y'all. That's why they badmouth socialism, because it's wealth for everybody. And in turn, right, when you start thinning out what's there, everybody's portion is less. That's what they care about. They care about the fact that if socialism came into effect across the board, their portion would be less. Not, oh, it's evil and this and that happens, or, oh, Sharia law comes with it. No, Sharia law has nothing to do with fucking socialism. I saw that. I only say that because I saw a sign from a black, I think it was a black Trump supporter, when it said, "Don't Sharia law my state" or some shit. And I'm just so baffled. I'm just like, you're a disappointment to us. You're a disappointment in general, because what are you talking about? Sharia law? What Democrat practices Sharia law? What American practices Sharia law? How is that even legal to do that? What? Fuck, ugh, God, I swear, some people, like, they just talk. They think they're so intelligent, and your intelligence is 100% based off of opinion, conjecture, and things you've seen on that little screen. You haven't opened a book. You haven't even listened to a podcast that is using actual cited information. Like, you literally just had a conversation with your friend about something. You put your opinions together, and then you thought you made science. Why are there so many people like that in this world? I don't understand. We're stepping out of America for a moment. Like, there's a lot of people like that in this world. Like, just yeah. The loudest people seem to be the illiterate ones. And right? Like, our literacy rate is pretty fucking low here, if I remember correctly. And that's part of why he won. And it's like, it's all fine and dandy if you can't read. But that doesn't mean you just assume knowledge. Like, if you don't know, you don't know. Don't start and thinking that what you're saying is worth anything. It's just it kills me. It kills me. But yeah, people will probably say something about this. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, where's all this money coming from for all these other things? If we're not switching over to a system like his, right? You're not using a system that's going to generate wealth to be able to produce money for all of these proposals. Like, what, are you just going to suck up all the money out of the budget? Like, what? Yeah, bankrupt America? Like, what is going on here? Somebody tell me. What is going on here? Yeah, Mondani. I said Mondani. Mom Donnie. Sorry. He's the man. He's the man with the plan. Really wish we could get more like him. All over the place. Let's get somebody down here in Florida that'll do that. And see, that's, what the funny thing is, if we could actually get somebody like that down here in Florida doing that, like, that might even change the map. It might not be red all over the place anymore. Which the districts, oh my god, the districts here are wild. Oh my god, like, check out the district map here. It's laughable. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, we're not going to give that much energy. But yeah, if we had somebody like him down here, that would be fantastic. But I guess we're just going to have to hope and pray for now. Anyways, that's all for today, y'all. Love you all. Thank you for the support. Thank you for watching. Check us out again next Wednesday. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye-bye.